Okay, so just a brief, what age, what is your age? Is anyone in early 40s?
42 just now.
Oh, excellent. Yeah. Okay, and under 50? 50? Above 50?
Yeah.
Okay, excellent. And so why I'm here? My story started long ago when I got interested in holistic health. It was in childhood, more or less. But then when I was 33, 34, I was diagnosed with autoimmune disease of thyroid. And the verdict was I have to take hormones as long as I live, which frustrated me because I have a PhD in chemistry and I worked in pharmaceutical companies, and I didn't fancy this idea that I have to take medicines my whole life. So I found a way to reverse the autoimmune disease. I gathered a lot of knowledge, part of my professional knowledge also about holistic health, and several years ago I switched my career and I became a hypnotherapist. And last year I turned 50, and after I heard some things about hormonal treatment for menopause, and I saw my friends struggling, I took a decision that I will start early in Peri-Menopause. There was so much information, it is so confusing. I hoped my doctor will know. And it is difficult, really. It's not every doctor who prescribes hormonal therapy, right? So I had clients who went to the gynecologist, and gynecologist send them back and say, yeah, that's natural, let's deal with that, right? Yeah. And my doctor didn't send me back, so she was ready to talk about it with me. But after she prescribed me, I thought something was going really wrong. So she just prescribed me something very standard, which didn't fit me at all. I decided, okay, I will figure it out myself. I need to understand it. And that's why I'm here with you today, so that you also gain some understanding and get inspired to learn more about it yourself, so that you can talk to your doctor, that you can discuss what your needs are and what they do for you. Even if the answer is no, you can still say, let's consider other options. This is my introduction. Let's start then with the topic. And I want to first start with what we experience. It's not all menopause. All menopause is not menopause. And we are talking primarily about our hormonal changes. So our ovaries stop functioning slowly, and the process starts when we are 35 approximately. Already we start, hormonal household starts changing, and then leads, it is called then Peri-Menopause, then goes into menopause, and the ovaries stop completely producing one hormone, progesterone. When we talk about hormonal reproductive therapy, we mainly talk about two hormones, it's estrogen and progesterone. But ovaries produce more than these two. Also testosterone, right, which is known as men's sexual hormone, is also produced. It is also going down, right? So, and what happens is actually very nice and interesting to understand that why menopause is called also second puberty, right? So if we see in puberty, estrogen starts fluctuating a lot, and then it stabilizes at about 18 years old. And the same happens at approximately 35. Estrogen starts also fluctuating. But ovaries, even after menopause, ovaries still produce estrogen, about 10%. And also every cell of our body is able to produce estrogen from other androgen hormones. So we need to understand that we will always have a certain level of estrogen, but it takes time to change it. And progesterone is very low, and then it slowly starts raising, level becomes higher than estrogen, and the same happens when we are over 35, it goes down, and then ovaries stop producing it completely. So progesterone we lose completely. And so these are two hormones which get mostly prescribed. Sometimes testosterone gets prescribed. So you see that it is just reflection puberty, the same. Yeah, so we can say we are in puberty. This, of course, leads to our perimenopausal and menopausal symptoms, which we don't like, right? So the sweats, anxiety, dryness of skin, some of them, not everything. But what is hormone? Sexual hormone doesn't mean that it influences only our monthly cycle. Hormone means that every cell in our body reacts to these hormones. And it is our cardiovascular system, our muscle, our bones, our nervous system. So the direct effect when we lose hormones, it is a higher risk of osteoporosis. Because both estrogen and progesterone, they help our bones to renew and build. Our cells renew and divide. The same also with bones. When we don't have estrogen and progesterone, our bones. So this is very important to understand that if you will consider, when we'll talk later more about hormonal replacement therapy, that it's not just about the symptoms. Hormone replacement therapy will help you to reduce the symptoms, but also that it is for health. So it is actually menopause, perimenopause is called opportunity window for your health, for longevity. Right? It is the last chance. If you didn't do certain things for your health before, this is the last chance to take it, because it will be critical. Mm-hmm. Okay.
So we're really too late.
No, it depends, of course, on your genes. Some women go very easily through menopause, but this is an opportunity for you to really enjoy that part of your life when children are grown up and you can do your hobbies and live meaningful life, but then you have to take action for that. All right, so this is a direct effect.
Sorry, a question.
Yes.
I know the main focus is on the perimenopause, but...
No, I'm not on perimenopause.
Okay, all right. No, because with the osteoporosis thing, I have been diagnosed. I'm postmenopausal now, so my window, I guess, is like, has it closed, or is there still things I can
so,
do?
all right, so osteoporosis, what do we do about it? There is, of course, the first thing is the bad habits. We want to stop smoking, we want to reduce alcohol, we want to adopt our nutrition. It doesn't mean dieting, it means really proper nutrient-rich food, right? And supplements. When we talk about supplements, it's not just calcium. It is our bones, they need calcium, magnesium, selenium, zinc, right? Phosphate, sulfate. So we have to have rich food, rich on these microelements, and take supplements, because magnesium is almost all of us are. We don't have enough magnesium, especially if we are doing sports, and you look actually old. So I think everybody does some sports. Yes, and selenium and zinc are rare metals, so we don't have them. It's important for not only for bones, but for bones as well. And then exercise. Yeah. So heavy weightlifting specifically, right? So you know, yes, and all of this is helping. And then, so if you start the hormonal replacement therapy early enough, it helps to prevent. These hormones are important to build your bones. You have to talk to your doctor maybe if you start with, and I will talk about when to start later, when to start the hormone therapy, and you will see, maybe you can talk to your doctor about it. So this is a natural process of aging, and we can do something about it before we start with hormone therapy. Then, okay, When we talk about hormonal changes, we shouldn't forget it's not only our sex hormones. A lot has to do with thyroid, and we always have to keep an eye on our
or medication.
Medication.
Oh.
Yeah. Thyroid
Medication.
hormone.
Yes, so you have to keep an eye on your thyroid because changes with age they can trigger or worsen the thyroid function.
What are typical symptoms? How do you know if something is going on?
When you lose weight very quickly,
Or
which
put
I
on
did.
weight because when the
I was like like this, and you get palpitations
Mhm.
and anxiety attacks. And then if it's the other way round, you get very depressed and you get really fat. And
Also
it doesn't
palpitation.
really matter what you do, you just gain weight.
Okay.
It's got everything to do with your metabolism.
Yeah.
Yeah.
so many symptoms. Thyroid regulates our metabolism, whole body metabolism. So the symptoms can be so various. And the best way when you do go for a checkup, you ask your doctor, can we please also put thyroid hormones on for the check? Because it makes sense simply to check.
Through a blood test, presumably, right? Is that,
Yes.
yeah.
It's a blood test, yes, for thyroid function. Okay?
Yeah.
Okay. So thyroid we need to remember, and then busy.
Yeah.
That's the one.
That's good.
And thyroid. Remember thyroid. Okay. So the next thing, when the hormones change, they influence our metabolism. Thank you very much. They change our metabolism, and a very specific, important. It is a candy, by the way. It's a candy.
Sugar.
What we love.
Yeah.
So
Not too much.
what happens with our metabolism? We develop, with the age, we develop insulin resistance. What is insulin resistance? Is the main source of energy in our body is glucose. Glucose we get from sugar and carbohydrates. They get digested in our digestion system, and then they form glucose. And every time we eat something sweet or carbohydrates, we get a spike of glucose in our blood.
That
When
I
we-
didn't know.
Me neither.
That bit I didn't
Yeah.
know.
When
We already learned a lot of
when we get a high level of glucose in our blood, we get insulin into our blood, and insulin starts opening the doors in our muscles and getting all the glucose into our muscles that way, because our muscles producing energy for us. So glucose is a source of energy, and muscles produce that energy out of glucose, which we then use. Right? And with the age, this doesn't work any longer so well. It starts again with age 35, and the insulin gets produced. We get a spike of glucose, insulin gets secreted into blood, but muscles don't react any longer so well. With the age, worse and worse. So what insulin does, it shovels everything into the fat tissue.
Oy, oy, oy.
That makes sense.
So it depends on our estrogen and progesterone because they keep our metabolism higher. But the main process is that insulin resistance. And it's not the worst part that we get some weight. Right? Because more or less this process starts at 35 perimenopause, and then of course in menopause. When did you start getting a problem around the waist? For me it was in early 40s. Yeah, it's not in menopause. The worst part is the high glucose in the blood and the high insulin, because the glucose starts bombarding all the tissues, and the process is called glycolysis. It is just the same when you bake a piece of chicken, it becomes brown. Right? So all tissues are aging. And the worst part is this is what causes a plaque in our blood vessels. And then
What's that? Plaque.
plaque.
Plaque. Oh, okay.
In the,
Plaque.
yeah, so
yes.
it makes our blood vessels age, and it is a direct then way to cardiovascular diseases, stroke,
It's good to know.
thromboembolism. So we want to avoid this.
Janita?
Yeah, insulin resistance.
We need to avoid that.
No more cookies and candy.
She's looking. No more cookies.
So
No.
what do we do about it? Yes, indeed, we want to reduce consumption of
Yeah.
sugar.
I love sugar in my
Does this
coffee.
also including, fruit and natural sugars, or just
Exactly.
refined?
Exactly.
All sugars.
All sugars, yeah,
Okay.
because fructose is honey.
Yeah.
Honey has also much
Yeah.
glycolysis.
Wow.
So we are becoming like pre-diabetic.
Yeah.
And,
Yes.
if we continue eating sugar, it is a result to become also diabetic.
And is this uniquely for women or is it also for men, insulin resistance with age?
With HCl also for men as well, but
Yeah.
because of
Also.
our hormones. So our hormones, estrogen and progesterone, these
Yeah.
are our hormones for health. They're not just sexual hormones.
No.
And they keep us healthier than men,
Mm.
okay? And when we start losing them, we start losing our health.
Advantage that
Mm.
we have
Yes.
over men.
Yes,
Mm.
right? So so you see that picture of the fried chicken? So we don't want to be fried chicken. Good that we agree. So for that we need to reduce sugar, we need to reduce refined products or carbohydrates. So what do you eat for breakfast? You don't
Nothing
eat-
for me.
You don't eat
Egg.
breakfast.
I've recently changed. I've been recently working on my nutrition, so I quite often have natural yogurt, but I do put blueberries or something in it,
Yes.
and then some nuts.
Yes,
so I
so-
try to have a mixture of things.
Yes,
Yeah.
so it is healthy fat and healthy protein. The one very good hack to start with a savory breakfast, not sweet,
Mhm.
because when we eat something sweet in the morning, we go on the roller
Triggers,
coaster.
yeah.
that's right.
Yes, our energy shoots up and then it
Drops.
goes
Mm.
drops
Drops
down, and we start craving things
Mm.
and look for snacks and get hungry.
Sugar in the coffee. But even like an apple could be too
Yes.
sweet and trigger that
Yes,
craving.
there are some influences, I can give you later names, who very clearly show even the black coffee, no sugar, cause an insulin glucose spike.
That's
So
the
you
caffeine, I suppose, right?
want
Or
to know
is it? Or
what
is it caffeine?
it can be that it releases from cells. It's just that the fact is important. If we talk about what you can do, the first thing is start with a savory breakfast. The second thing is when you are having a meal, start with vegetables, some vegetables. Combine foods. If you eat carbs that you like, combine, have some protein with it, have vegetables, have good oils. And this will slow down the digestion of carbohydrates and will flatten the glucose spike.
And when you say have vegetable, do you mean like, if you are cooking, say, chicken and vegetables, physically eat the vegetables first before you eat the chicken, or doesn't matter really, or?
It's not about the chicken.
It's
So
not the-
chicken is not the problem. The problem is the carbs.
Yeah. But if we eat vegetables, so it's not like you should eat the carbs before you eat the protein. It's not that you're saying.
It is like, it is a tradition when you eat a several course dinner, you get a small salad before. And I don't know, people didn't know probably that is why
That was
it
the
was
reason,
good.
okay.
But it is a good idea to have
Yeah.
some vegetables before you start your meal, or even eat your protein and vegetables, and at the end carbs
That's
start.
it.
Yeah.
Fit for Life is a good book to go to guide you on that.
Okay.
And there is
About mixing of things. Sorry. just
Yes,
tell me.
and I follow now. There is a scientist from France. She's She calls herself glucose queen.
Yeah, I
Yes.
follow her too.
Yes, and
Great,
that's
great content.
yes, exactly. So
Glucose.
these are exactly her tips.
I follow her on Instagram, but I'm sure she has a YouTube channel too.
with
Yeah.
wonderful videos of
Yeah.
yes, glucose queen.
Glucose queen.
Yeah, her French name is just not to pronounce
Mm.
for me or not to remember.
But it's a lot about what to eat, but
Yes.
also, like you say, in what order,
Yes,
and also actually also what time during the day. And
yes.
yeah,
So and
but
after
it's very clear content.
yes, so you start with a cereal breakfast. Always no breakfast. Fasting. Fasting is also a great way
Yeah.
to stretch the abilities
Glucose
of your
content.
body and to strengthen it, make it fit. And then when you eat, you start with some vegetables, and at least once a day, or maybe after each meal, you want to walk, to move. That also improves and flattens that glucose spike. And the other hack, which is also really helpful, it was not easy for me to pick up. It is a tablespoon of apple cider vinegar.
Oh,
That's
yeah,
a
yeah, 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 yeah.
tablespoon of vinegar in a big
Yeah.
glass of
Yes.
water. Yeah, it is about a quantity of water. You can really dilute it to take it.
At a certain time of the day or any time of the
So,
day?
as I mentioned with the sweet breakfast, it's the same as our morning sets kind of how
so
we'll go
morning.
through the day. So even if you take once a day in the morning, it will influence you the rest of your day. It will already positively influence your metabolism, specifically glucose.
My granddaughter hates the smell of it.
Yeah.
She always says to me, Grandma, you promise when I come here, you will not make it. Because it's such a strong smell.
Yeah.
But it is very effective, so
It
that's
is.
a really good one.
Yes, so you can mix it with something. You can put it
Yeah.
into a tea. You can dilute it. I don't know how much. You can make a big 2 glasses if it is difficult.
With a glass of Spar Road, like sparkling water, it's like a cocktail.
I hated it because I thought it has to be cold, and in winter I just can't
Oh, I have it
drink
hot.
cold. So I figured out that you can also
Yeah,
warm
that's
water.
what I do.
Yes.
But I think that's also why the French, especially, like have this little pre-salad before a course with vinaigrette on it,
Oh,
as the
yeah.
dressing
Yes.
on it. It kicks off the same
Exactly.
process.
And in any meal, when you eat, if you can add it into your food. That's what you're saying. And so on the salad, you don't have to drink it all the time. You can add it. So if you find a way to incorporate it and find proportions for yourself, how much you dilute it, because also insulin resistance, when it develops, it influences hormone balance, and hormone balance influence again in the negative way. You can spiral down. It's a very important. So all the studies show very clearly that estrogen and progesterone deficiency leads to osteoporosis. It is very clearly, nothing else. But now heart, cardiovascular diseases, they are influenced by both. And it's mostly insulin resistance. The processes are related, but they are independent processes of aging where we can do. And again, so exercise, moving, the more muscles you have, the more you have capacity for glucose to take.
Could I ask you a question?
Yes.
I was diagnosed with osteoporosis, and then for 5 years I was on this tablet. You know that Assura, you know of it?
No, I don't know
Oh,
all the
okay.
medicines.
It's a bisphosphate.
What does it
Yes, and I had to take one tablet
bisphosphate.
a week for 5 years. And after 5 years, they just stop you on it because they say it's not effective after 5 years. But here in Holland, they don't test you after those 5 years to see if you still have osteoporosis. Do you know
Yes.
much about that?
Again, I can tell you a lot about Hashimoto's. You have to go, there are specialists. Women get osteoporosis also in earlier ages when they are stressed out, when they are eating not well, and they reverse it. So a lot of conditions can be reversed.
Mm.
What the doctors say, it's not healable, take your pill, go,
see, that's the thing I
paracetamol,
bet.
and go home. Yeah. No, I will really encourage you to persist and find your own solutions. Unfortunately, nowadays there are good specialist doctors who specialize in certain areas, who had themselves these conditions, who reversed them, and they publish books, they have the courses, and yeah.
I mean, I've read things, and I believe maybe it has improved, because before I would just walk, hit my toe there, and it would break.
Yeah.
And now it's not happening, but at least to find out the level,
Yes.
they're not giving me that bone test to
Okay.
find out. That's okay.
We can talk about it later
Yeah.
because
Yes.
obviously I've also read a lot about it, having been diagnosed.
Yes. So I would persist, and I've tried also so many supplements, different supplements,
Yeah.
and until I found a solution what works for me,
Yeah.
until I reversed the condition. So that taking responsibility for your own
Yeah,
health,
exactly.
not hoping that someone else,
Yeah.
especially
It's-
your whole
It can be,
doctor, family.
it can be difficult because you do meet. I have met resistance from my doctor.
Yes.
You know, so even this week I've had to, I would say it was a very civil argument, but it was an argument with the doctor really.
Yeah.
And sorry to say, I mean it's a male doctor. I think they don't understand. You
Yes.
know.
So
So-
I've changed
Hello.
doctors when
Yeah.
This is the menopause.
Yes.
Sorry, dude.
when I had a doctor who in a traditional way told, all right, you have Hashimoto's. It is one-time diagnosed, and they don't measure antibodies any longer. I asked you once, twice, 3 times. I told send my file to another doctor, and that's it.
Yeah.
So now I am with the International Health Center, with the internists who understand this, and with her support, not with her guidance, but with her support of giving me the checks that I wanted, I achieved the remission of Hashimoto's, right? So you need really the doctor with whom you can talk about your health issues, right? So insulin sensitivity, we want to improve our insulin sensitivity. The next one, our immune system remodels itself also. And the time of menopause and perimenopause can trigger new autoimmune diseases or inflammation in the body, or worsen the existing conditions. So I'm keeping, with the help of my doctor, I'm keeping an eye in the autoimmune condition of my thyroid, so that I keep it under control. So I don't know how do you see in your family? Did you see mothers, grandmothers with arthritis? Not fathers, not grandfathers. These are women who get inflammation in their body.
Like rheumatoid arthritis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? So it is seldom. Well, I know one man.
And
But
is that to do with the menopause?
it is about remodeling of your immune system. It is influence also, the worse is our disbalance, it can influence immune system, but it is also happens independently.
And
right?
does it also happen like with skin problem? Does that come under that?
With your weak point.
Okay.
Your weak point. You have, everybody is different.
Okay.
Right? And again, what do? We quit smoking, we reduce alcohol, we improve our food, we avoid all toxins. Well, smoking, alcohol is already are toxins, but we avoid mold, we avoid mold.
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 House mold.
Oh, okay.
Yes. Right? And we avoid highly processed foods, additives in all the foods that are put, sugar as
Yeah.
well, right? And here, osteoporosis and sugar. Sugar is sucking out minerals out of the bones. So there are so many reasons to quit sugar.
So many reasons.
I love my cake.
Yeah, also the glucose goddess, she says, okay, but first eat your food. Don't
Yeah.
snack on it. Don't
Yes.
don't start this roller coaster in the morning. Just eat some dessert. Enjoy it after you had a proper meal and when you gave your body everything it needs for the health.
Yes, to take care of itself.
And then you will not crave and eat things that you shouldn't eat. You can have some nice meals. The same measures are here that help for immune system. Here again, keep an eye when you go for a blood test for yourself. Check thyroid as well, because thyroid autoimmune condition is very pure. And again, so disbalance of hormones influence the immune system, and insulin resistance also affects this process of remodeling. It's all interconnected. Yeah? But you see also the same measures bring into balance. This was supposed to be a brain, right? Our nervous system. Also goes through remodeling, and our nervous system loves hormones, and they give us a feeling of well-being. And of course, when we have less hormones, we start experiencing anxiety, sleep problems, right? Depression. In the menopause itself, the memory lapses, and then they say that Alzheimer's dementia starts in the menopause and develops. So we want to take care of our nervous system as well.
And does the dizziness come under that as well? Dizziness and the tinglings and.
It can be, yes, but different people will react differently.
But under that sort of neural.
It is, yes, right, because it's through nervous system. It's not. What is important for the nervous system? Again, we want to remove toxins. We want to stop smoking. Osteoporosis, reducing weight for osteoporosis is very important. You see, all is we want proper food. Also for the nervous system, we need proper magnesium again. Important. When you are in perimenopause or menopause, you are not in depression. There was just one organization that said do not prescribe antidepressants. I had a client who
Say it again. If you
are in perimenopause or menopause and you have symptoms of depression,
I sent it in that quote.
It's the antidepressants. Anyways, they are not effective in all cases, but it's not the right way to treat this condition. You want to bring it into balance. You can consider it's rather progesterone that you need, hormone replacement. Then this will help you better. It might help you better than the antidepressant. Again, it's not my advice. I want you to understand that you want to talk to your doctor, right? You want to discuss it, because I had a client who was very ambitious. She was in a high post and was in her early 40s. She had one burnout. In several years later, again another burnout, depression, putting on weight. And she was saying, no, I'm not in menopause, I have my menstrual cycle. So that's good, but her doctor put her on antidepressant, which gave side effects, and she was not feeling any better. Well, because of the side effects, even worse. And that was also not a doctor who would like to discuss with her anything. Yes, it can be. You have to stand up for yourself.
What do you think she would have needed, like progesterone or like some kind of hormone balance?
Yes, I will talk now, and I will answer this question. But I cannot give her. I gave her the book title and told read and go with this book, either to this doctor or fire him and go to a different.
Yeah, get rid of him and move on.
Yeah, because it was a really bad doctor. He was threatened to a psychotherapist who told that this is not the right medicine. So persist. All right. So you see, the same measures we need to take care, reduce sugars, eat less carbohydrates, eat better foods, take care of yourself, then stress release and your own wellness, mental wellness. And starting with walks in the nature, sports also help for mental health and fitness and meditation, hypnotherapy, and yes, to regulate these symptoms.
Can I ask a question?
Yes,
Is one of the systems that your jaw starts to lock, is that also
Lock.
part of, yeah, like sometimes it just blocks, I can't open my mouth further than this, it's just locked. Is that also part of menopause, or is that something else?
Well, as a hypnotherapist, I would ask you about other symptoms because I treat the person in a holistic way. When it started, do you take magnesium? Because
Yeah, I
Yes,
do.
you do.
Yeah, and I even spray it now. I've got perm sole, I spray it.
yeah,
Yeah.
okay. So then check how otherwise is your food. Do you get other nutrients?
Well, you were just talking about sugary things. I've just had at my school, obviously Ramadan is finished, so I've been eating baklava every day. Yes, yeah. So I really need to cut down on my sugar, honestly.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
No.
You treat yourself in a different way, in a better way.
Yeah.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
So we mentioned depression most of the time, but what about mood swings? When
Yes.
one day you're just up, and then you go oof,
Yes.
out of the blue, or
So-
you explode in somebody's face out of the blue.
Yeah, so again, different reasons, but pay attention to your sugar consumption because this will be ups and downs. Then this estrogen ups and downs. This also, so and it is important again to do all these measures of lifestyle and eating to keep your body to clear excess of estrogen.
And everybody keeps talking about sugar consumption. I tend to go all the way to the opposite. I
Okay.
go on salt and savory all the time,
Yes.
and I don't like sugar stuff.
But you eat carbohydrates.
Yeah.
Do you? No, then it's not your problem. Just if we go in the other extreme, if you don't eat carbohydrates, then our body doesn't get enough nourishment. So women's body needs carbohydrates.
Also for the brain.
Yes. Does this
Not
answer
lots,
you?
But isn't it? But do you eat crisps or?
Yeah.
She
So
eats a lot,
this-
so that
still
can't be good either, can it? Or
it's a bit more on the sugar
Different
side.
kind.
Crisp is a salty something.
But in everything there's sugar. I mean,
Yes,
everything
in
we eat
everything.
there's sugar.
Yes.
Yes, so that's the
Bread,
best
for
way to
example.
cook yourself. To eat pure food. Yeah, choose. You can always have a better option. You can always have an option, and you make a better choice. It's not that we have to be perfect in everything with every meal. Yeah.
Thank you.
And then there can be emotional things as well. That's also to deal with that is also very deeper emotional stuff which needs to be solved. So here, nervous system, I wanted to also. So we're going through this change and remodeling also from the nervous system, and what else is important? A part of lifestyle is our meaningful life, that we do what we like, what we believe in, and this keeps us going, living meaning life, and one of them is social connections, relationships. So this is very important. I read about the study about Alzheimer's, that people can have all the signs of Alzheimer in their brain, but be completely healthy in their behavior, because they are active socially. So that was fascinating for me. There is so much research on Alzheimer and how to prevent that, and it seems that living a fulfilling life and happy life helps you.
Social connection is very important, really important.
So, indeed, and if we go through menopause, it gives a barrier to communicate. So we want to avoid a bit and feel ashamed. And in fact, it makes things worse. Right? So this menopause cafe is actually a great thing to bring women together and let them talk to each other. We talked about all of these measures, and it can be easy. I hear you do already a lot of things. If there are difficulties, you find a specialist to talk about it. And I'm a hypnotherapist. I can help transform the mindset about relationship with yourself. This was clear?
Yes.
Yes.
So you see now, we saw how much we can do. Now we come back and can talk about the place of hormonal replacement therapy in it. All right? And I wanted to talk about it on the example of the study that was done at the beginning of 2000, and I think 2002 or 4 it was published, Women's Health Initiative study, which showed that hormone replacement therapy causes strokes, causes thromboembolism, and so on. So what went wrong in that study? It was, the first thing is they took women of all age. Mean age of all women was above 63 years old. So not just menopausal, postmenopausal women. And what they gave oral equine, estrogen and progesterone. Equine, that means that they extracted estrogen from horse urine and gave them orally. So this was causing a lot of trouble, and that is a way not to do it.
Sorry, did you just say horse urine?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
Just take
That's
a
hormone
zip.
domain. The HRT is made like with those things.
So it is why, because it's traditionally was used for contraception. So the contraceptive pills, they are from equine estrogen, and it works well for contraception. All right. So what is taken? It is estrogen and progesterone. Normally, sometimes testosterone, which helps with, for example, sex drive, and progesterone. And you don't want equine hormone, so it's called synthetic. And taking orally, it can cause a lot of trouble. So it causes thromboembolism and cardiovascular diseases, and also the breast cancer. Okay. So we want to have bioidentical, and it is normal already. The doctors that give the medicines they give, so bioidentical, and is extracted. The horse estrogen is not the same molecule. It's similar, but it's not the same as human, and it causes side effects. Bioidentical, no, progesterone is produced from the fruit, young fruit. Yeah, but this is yes, but this is just the same molecule. And estrogen, and then how? Right. So it should be bioidentical, and estrogen can be given topically. It is just easily absorbed, and then because it doesn't go through digestion and through liver, it doesn't give the side effects. Bioidentical hormone. And there are sprays, there are patches, and your doctor can show you.
So the HRT can be taken in pill form, gels,
plaster.
Patches.
Patches. Yeah.
which is sprays.
Oh,
And the mildest form, which acts locally, is vaginal. So
This was what I had an argument with my doctor about the other day, because he clearly did not understand that there were two types: the systemic
yes,
and the localized, right?
she didn't.
No,
Yeah, so it's not a
You get
standard.
stomach cramps with that.
UTIs. It was
my-
to do with UTIs. I'd heard that the vaginal localized one is good for UTIs, yeah, for urinary tract infections.
My younger sister was taking it.
So your uterine will have the least systemic exposure. It will not go every
Yeah.
yeah. So I think topical is the best. Then for urinary infections as well, right? Urinary infections, immune system.
Okay, comes under the immune system.
Okay, so topical and vaginal. Then when you get so women say, oh, but my levels are okay. I measured my levels of hormones are okay. Then
How do people measure their levels of hormones? Is there?
Yeah.
you can yes you can maybe you can buy, but also your doctor can check. But then okay, there is no point to check because
No,
if
after
you're,
this point, then yeah, you're
you're-
going to be low, right?
if you are in the menopause, it will be anyway low.
Yeah.
And again, estrogen is produced, still 10% is produced by the ovaries, but every cell is producing, switching and producing its own, so you cannot measure it in the blood. And in perimenopause, it will be still jumping up and down, so you can measure high, you can measure low, it will depend on the day. And the norms are wide to meet the average, because the norms are set from the averages of women. So that's why hormone replacement therapy as a rule is just prescribed by the symptoms. If you can't deal with that stress, if you have high anxiety, if you have migraines, and so on, in perimenopause, and then hot flushes and so on, which you did everything you can do, and you still cannot deal with them, then you just say, I would like to try it out. Very important, if you are in a perimenopause, if you still have cycles and you have symptoms of perimenopause, what my doctor gave me estrogen. What happens if you are already high on estrogen and you get even more estrogen? You have continuous bleeding, you have very heavy bleeding, and you lose all the iron, lay flat. So that's why, again, you need to talk to be able to talk to your doctor. If starting in perimenopause, you can start already with progesterone, and the mildest form is also topical, and that one you can even buy yourself, bioidentical, organic. You can use a topical. Of course, invest to talk to your doctor first, because the oral might be too strong.
Is HRT like all the same, or is it adapted according to if your body needs different hormones?
That's what we were talking all about. So I'm talking. It's mainly two hormones, and in starting in perimenopause, you can take progesterone, and the book that I read, and it's Hormone Repair Manual from Lara Bryden. She's a scientist and gynecologist who has a lot of experience. She says she would give normally only progesterone. Most women need only progesterone. And she would give estrogen only to women who have early menopause or maybe is induced by medication. Early menopause leads to early osteoporosis and increased risk of cardiovascular diseases early.
But I think, people I've never been on HRT, but I understand that sometimes the first one doesn't always work right. You have to try different ones. Is from friends that I know that have tried it.
So even, for example, with a gel, there's different types of gels or something?
I think so, right?
No, there are not too many brands. No, there are kind of a couple of brands in Europe, a couple in the US, and they are standardly prescribed.
Even if it's the same brand, do they make different strengths or something?
Yes, definitely.
Okay.
Yeah, the doctor can explain there is a different strengths. So I would always start with the lowest, because when you get a hit of hormones are really active compounds, the lowest doses can have a very big effect.
And the equine one, is that no longer prescribed, or would that be that is still prescribed? So
Yes,
it's like
it can
important
be.
that if you want it to
Yes.
say, I don't want that one, I'd rather have the bioidentical one.
Yes, but the good doctor would not prescribe it. If the doctor already prescribes, I hope then that they are informed
Yeah.
about it.
Trouble is, I mean, it's news to me that there are like different types. Maybe it's for other people too. You just go to the doctor and say, I want HRT. You don't even ask what's in it, do you? Really, So
I mean, so this lady the book that you have, that you mentioned,
Yes,
and you said it's very good. Does she specify specific brands or
Yes, she
gels
does,
and
but
things that you
she's-
should or you shouldn't?
she's in the US, so she gives a list, and what I like in this book, she gives you the text how you should talk to your doctor.
That's,
if your
that's
doctor
the most important
doesn't
thing.
listen to you, tell your doctor to print out this article, take this article to your doctor and say, let's talk about it. If you don't have a possibility to change the doctor, say, leave that article, say, I will come back and we'll talk next time about it.
I'm sorry that I was late. I think it's at 2 p.m. So, but I've had this experience with my doctor as well, and house arts here really aren't who you should be talking to. You need a specialist.
Yes.
And I finally, after 2 years, I went and said, I'm not leaving until you refer me to someone who knows what they're talking about.
yes, that's
And so
the
that-
point I've got to this week. It's taken 18 months, but
Do they exist in this country? They do.
That's what I was talking
Yeah,
before,
exactly.
to take responsibility for your own house, and even, well, maybe you don't, if you don't feel like you are, and you understand scientific articles, there are books like what I told you, right? Hormone.
You'll let us know that book? Yeah?
Yes, Hormone Repair Manual.
Okay.
And the
And
lady,
could you also do it via food? Because you were talking, one was bioidentical, I heard you say yam, that's a food, isn't it?
Yes, but the wrong way you get
Yeah, but
That's
is there progesterone in a type of food that we could eat?
Not really, no.
No.
Progesterone is not, and actually this is a progesterone which builds bones.
Okay.
And so, what people often mention, and what I also tried, is a seed cycling, because they say that seeds have estrogens. So it's the estrogen type compounds, which are again not bioidentical. And what they do help. They block receptors of estrogen, and when you are in this roller coaster of high estrogen, they block the receptors, and you protect yourself from those highs of estrogen. Yeah, so that is the way the seeds work. If you want, but
what do you mean
Should
with seeds?
progesterone be just have
seeds, or yeah,
Chia seeds and those things.
Yeah,
Chia seeds,
hemp
hemp seeds and
hemp
those
seeds,
things, yeah.
sunflower seeds,
Flax seeds, that's it.
Flax, yeah.
Those
Those seeds is, what are you saying? You have to, don't take them or?
do take them.
Don't
Do
take
take them. Oh, okay, because I'm taking them.
for various reasons, for good oils,
Yes,
for
no.
proteins, for
You're completely
vitamins,
correct and
and
completely wrong.
yes. Okay, I wanted just to make the final point, right? The hormone replacement therapies can help you to deal with the symptoms of menopause. It can protect your bones, it can influence the other processes of aging and help you live well, to support your longevity. But you have to take care of yourself and take all these other measures. Yes, especially.
Yes, especially.
Yeah.
Raise your insulin sensitivity.
Yeah, my kind of final question was about because they say, you know, the risk to bones and also, like you said, to the cardiovascular system, right? So, and that, I suppose what you talked about under the insulin comes into that. Is that because when when you think you've always had a healthy heart, and then you think, oh, well, I can develop cardiovascular disease, like.
In the menopause.
It's really just from eating better, well, and the exercising, I suppose.
Well,
Is there anything else?
We will all die, right?
Yeah.
Just
Just
about-
I don't want to die yet.
That is for sure. But if we want to live a meaningful life in a healthy way, feel fit for longer time, then we want to do this adjustment to our lifestyle. Was it?
Yes, thank you.
We cannot live forever.
No.
We'd like to.
Maybe we don't, right? Some point is too much.
But yeah, so indeed, taking a HRT can also have a positive effect on the heart as well.
Yes.
Then,
So
yeah.
and that is very important about the timing, right? So you take as early as you need in the perimenopause, can start taking. But as a Women Health Initiative study showed, so 60 is about the border.
The latest,
Yes. So as they say, until 59 you can start, but again you have to take into account your health conditions. If you had already breast cancer, if you had already womb cancer, if you have already plug in your blood vessels, just because of genetical things or because we fucked up ourselves so early, right? So then it has this lifestyle measures in the first place, and but still it is possible, but you have to find a good doctor, and maybe it's a vaginal form, which is has least effect. I have a friend who had a hysterectomy, and she takes only estrogen topical.
Okay.
And it helps you a lot with the menopause symptoms.
But you don't see like some women who have reason to start with HRT already from 35 onwards, or is that way too early? Or
So 35, I think it would be too early. It is lifestyle. Then one has to adjust lifestyle first. Because women go sometimes early into perimenopause because of the high stress at work. They stop menstruating.
okay, so then it's more lifestyle. But when is it possible to say on average when it starts to become relevant to look into it?
It was all personal, so it is really
difficult
all
to say.
personal. It depends. Like I know that because of my thyroid condition, I did everything for my health, and I couldn't do even more.
No.
No, really,
Yeah.
I didn't eat sugar. I don't crave sugar.
No.
And I didn't have carbs, and no gluten. Right? So for immune system also, all the compounds that cause also food sensitivities, gluten, milk products, they also need to be removed. And if you know that you did everything, because this is the
Then
main
next step
thing,
is
yes.
to look into
So this is the age when we have to do the changes to our lifestyle, which we need to do already, but this is our last chance, that window of opportunity.
Yeah.
I have a friend, and she was in her 60s, and she's been on HRT for some years, for quite some time. But she's scared to come off it. Because even the doctors say to her, they don't know how she'll react if she comes off it. She's 60, I think she's coming up to 64 now.
Yes.
But she's still, she doesn't feel, she feels like if she comes off it, she was already really, really bad. She felt anxious, she had having problems at home with her husband, with the kids, they didn't want to be around her, so she's scared if she came off it now, how will she feel? So she's staying on it.
How long have you been on it for?
She's been on it for about 10,
But
15 years, she said. 15 years.
it is a help. It is not a solution. So if she's is having all these problems, she needs to deal with these problems first. And there is a very little literature on how women come off. I try to find. I just understand that there are the hot flashes coming. You kind of again experience all these symptoms, but how long? I don't know. So this is also another question. But it's definitely prolongs time of feeling well and fit.
Thank you.